Hey everybody, I've been playing a lot of Snow lately, and this game actually is VR ready, or very close to VR ready, as close as most games actually are to VR ready. And today we're going to be talking about my experience playing Snow in first-person mode and how it relates to virtual reality. The game already, you go play it right now. It's a free-to-play game. You can just pick it up right now, and whenever you start it, it does have a VR mode optional. I do not have a VR headset. However, I've got a lot of opinions on what I think VR will be like, for the mass consumer market, for the average person. I think I have an idea of what the experience actually entails, because I do play VR-enabled games, and I do enjoy playing games in first-person mode. However, I'm not particularly very excited for the VR helmet accessory, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on that. Since this is my thoughts on Thursday, it's kind of like a podcast video, so stay tuned. Let's talk about it. VR. The average consumer probably doesn't know what it really means, okay? Like virtual reality. They think maybe that they're going to be completely immersed in something, but the only devices that we really have are extremely expensive surround sound earphones, as well as very, very expensive, basically monitors that we're gluing to our eyeballs. And yeah, there is some trickery with it so that it looks very realistic. The images sort of curved around our peripheral vision. It cuts out other light, so we are a little bit more immersed, but it's not gonna be super significant. I mean, it's gonna be probably worth the money, honestly, but not for every single game. I mean, right now, really, you could just put on a good pair of headphones and play in first person, and you get a pretty good experience. Now, I know virtual reality, for those who have actually tried it, they swear by it. They say that it is an amazing experience, and it probably is. But then again, for $600 around there, that's a lot of money. But I guess, again, you have to think. Some monitors, if you want to play with a gaming monitor, if you want to have the most immersive gaming experience, you would be paying about that much for a monitor or even more. So, yeah, the fact that it also sits on your head and it actually gives you a true virtual reality experience, or as close to it as possible, that's pretty good price. I honestly think so. However, how comfortable is it going to be? How comfortable is it going to be whenever we use our really expensive big cans on our head? Because that's a big thing. If you want to be immersed in something, you need audio. Audio is probably like half as important. Okay, maybe not half as important, but pretty freaking important. I don't know the actual technical details of how important or how immersive audio is to the virtual reality experience, but apparently Oculus Rift doesn't think it's that important because it comes with like some kind of shitty, earbud looking thing. I don't know. They look like freaking from the 90s. It doesn't look great. But yeah, if virtual reality definitely respects the audio, it makes if every single designer of these virtual reality headsets, and they allow us to use pretty much any size headphones, then I'd be really happy. Yeah, definitely. They need to be able to accommodate cans. If you guys don't know, cans are like pretty much the biggest headphones that you can have. They just give like the best audio quality. And if you guys have ever had a gaming headset, you know how big they can be because they need to have all the speakers for the surround sound, or the simulated surround sound at least. Yeah, you need that for a true virtual reality experience at the minimum. And then we have these VR helmets that seem to be really big and bulky, and we have no idea how comfortable they are going to be whenever they finally release. And already, I mean, we got big headsets that already kind of like are pretty heavy on our heads, So how is it going to work when you have these big headphones? We have this virtual reality helmet strapped onto our head. We're going to start looking like cyborgs. How comfortable is that going to be? There's just all sorts of awkwardness that we don't know about. Now, if they do design the headsets to not only accommodate the headphones, but also if they can kind of like lock them in somehow, if they also have straps to kind of hold the headphones, that might make things a little bit better. And what about the wires? One thing that I don't like about having my wired headset that I'm holding right here is that it constantly tugs on my head a lot of the times, or the wires get in the way. And I've seen a lot of people playing with these virtual reality headsets, and the wires are it gets ridiculous, man. Like, they're all over the place. Like, what kind of experience is that? Yeah, sure, you're like immersed in this world, but what if you are actually immersed? What if you get scared and you kind of jump back and you pull the wires and like everything goes flying, controllers go flying, monitors are breaking, and glass is shattering everywhere? And I don't know, man. You guys have seen the videos, right? Of people like they try on the VR helmets for the first time, they freak out, and like everything just like goes completely wrong and the wires get tugged and pulled. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that maybe digitally the experience could be good. And I've been playing a lot of Snow, right? I know that first-person games like racing games, the snowboard game, these other games that are made specifically for VR are probably really cool experiences, but physically, how comfortable are we going to be doing that? For instance, I love the headphones that I have right now, MH40s by Audio-Technica. These things are good, but they also compress my head, and I have glasses as well, so it gives me a headache. It really hurts my head. It gets very uncomfortable if I wear these for longer than a single hour, okay? So if I'm doing a whole session of editing videos and I'm playing games, like, you know, for 4 hours, it becomes unbearable, and I have to take a break. And I sometimes have to even lay down. So yeah, just the headphones, these headphones. And how are they going to accommodate different people's head sizes? I mean, I've got a bigger head, I think. I'm an American male, so I'm a larger person. What about Korean females who are very, very small? You know, how are we going to accommodate all these different sizes? And that's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about the technical stuff. I'm sure that it's just fine. Everyone already swears by it. However, what we don't know is people who just game VR nonstop. You know, game like we game now. We don't know how comfortable it's going to be in the final product, and probably the people's prototypes that they have now is probably not very comfortable, honestly, so it's kind of hard to gauge. But as long as the consumer level, actually, you know, let's think about that. How many variations of VR helmets are we going to have? Are we going to have one that's like the cheapest of the cheap? It's not that comfortable, you know, it doesn't have leather or much cushion, but it's functional. And then are we going to have luxury ones that are extra comfortable and have extra features, maybe come with their own headsets? You know, these are the things that I'm thinking about, because technically VR is, I mean, it's cool and it's new, but honestly, it's like, it can be done. I mean, it's already been done. Really what they're working on is, you know, the actual comfort level, and that's really probably the biggest thing, I think, in my opinion. I know there's a lot of technical difficulties with making a game actually work in VR, but the truth is that there's already a lot of games that are really fun as first-person games, and I know there's definitely a difference between first-person and VR. I'm just saying the jump isn't so big. In fact, there's already mods to play many of older games in VR. Or, like, why not? Why can't we just play a first-person game with VR? I mean, I guess maybe it'd be disorienting, like if you've ever played Call of Duty on a computer game. I'm sorry, as the computer game on your PC monitors, you might see that the FOV is really small, you might get motion sickness, but you don't on TV. There's a whole lot of mind trickery and fuckery with your eyeballs, basically. FOV is really important whenever you're really close to the monitors. That's why normally shooters on PC have huge FOVs, and I guess that's why whenever you have your headset on, you probably won't be able to use it just as a normal monitor. Maybe, kind of, I don't know. Anyways, I guess we'll end this by talking about games that probably are going to work really well with VR and what games are going to be coming out. So, if you guys have played on the Wii, you probably know the problem where there's a lot of games that come out that the sole mechanic is the unique mechanic of the physical device, okay? So, the Wiimote, right? There's a lot of games that just use the Wiimote, and that's it. Like, there's nothing more to the game. It's just a novelty thing based on the Wiimote. Now, there are, like, the sports games are kind of cool because they're sports, right? But there's a lot of games on Wii that are just complete garbage. Like, they just use the Wiimote, they think they're all creative and stuff, but there's really no substance to the game. I think one game that's actually really good is World of Goo, right? It wasn't held up by the novelty of the Wiimote. It's genuinely a fun game. You can play it on tablets, you can play it on PC, and it's still a good game in its own right. So that's what I think is going to make good VR games, is if the game, it shouldn't have to be a VR game. Like Snow. Snow's a good game. I can play it third person, play it first person, it's fun, it's enjoyable, it's still immersive, it still has everything that makes it a good game without forcing it to be VR. That's what I like very much about that. I think Skyrim as well, you know, a bunch of older games can be remixed and played in VR. Probably some MMOs, who freaking knows, like Elder Scrolls Online, I guess, but I guess kind of similar to Skyrim. Maybe even World of Warcraft. I don't know how third-person games work in VR, but basically, I think what we're gonna see, though, guys, is a lot of virtual reality games that are completely solely based on virtual reality, that are just glorified walking simulators. And in fact, those games are already out. They're already there. Not even gonna mention them. They don't deserve the time of the day. But yeah, so a lot of them. They look good, right? And the concept of VR seems appealing, but there's gonna be a lot of trash games. So that's what we gotta worry about. What I think though is that we got 3 competitors, right? Maybe even more along the way. But we got 3 main competitors for virtual reality headsets, and we're gonna have our pick of them, and I don't think we need to worry about technical specs or anything like that. Pretty much, it's gonna be good to go. What we need to worry about is how it feels on our face. That's probably the most important thing, because unlike a monitor, You know, we're doing more than just looking at it. It's literally sitting on our face. So hopefully they'll be in stores and we can try these on to pick which one we want. But other than that, you know, it's going to be how it feels on our face. They're probably all going to run fairly well, decent enough for most people, maybe even better, and the games. And right now, just so you know, there's a lot of shit games. There's some that look kind of interesting, but I promise you, most of them, if not all of them announced right now, are completely just novel ideas, just trying to get Kickstarter money just because it's a new concept. And yeah, that's not how it's going to work. Anyways, you should you should be excited for playing pre-existing games in VR, like Snow, or, you know, Skyrim, stuff like that. That's going to be pretty cool. And again, I think it's mainly going to come down to comfort. So what do you guys think? What are your comments? That's my thoughts on VR because it's pretty hype right now. This is my thoughts on Thursday, just kind of a little podcast ranty kind of video. Sorry it's a little bit late, guys, but I'm going to do it every Thursday. And as you guys can tell, I got a time slot each weekday of a unique video. So yeah, subscribe if you got, you know, Maker Mondays, Top 10 Tuesdays, Let's Play Wednesdays, Thoughts on Thursday, and 5 Games Fast Friday. I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm streaming too on Twitch and YouTube, and you know what? I'm just being pretty busy. So, yeah, you can excuse me for being a little bit late on my video, but guys, hopefully you guys are having fun. And if you like this sort of format with my ranty kind of podcasty videos, please let me know in the comments below as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.